Will Hall get traded? Will Breece Hall get traded? We don't know. A lot of speculation for some time, and a lot will, I think, be determined by how the team respawns and rebounds from right now. Fields will be back in the lineup, it appears. We're going to get a final word on that here shortly. But Fields being back in the saddle will certainly give this team, in my opinion, a shot at being that kind of team that would make this team not want to trade him. But if things go south, I could easily see the Breece Hall trade rumors getting kicked into high gear, and we'll see what happens. But I believe that we're still a little ways away from that. Anything's possible. We got more news to cover. Nico Collins related news. Malik Nabers to the mother freaking moon. Nabers is going to get his boy Dart tossing the pigskin in his direction. Jacobs, Tootin, Kraft, a whole bunch more. The Fantasy Football Show News Edition, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. That begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Live whenever news breaks. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and live at midnight Eastern almost every single night. Will Breece Hall get traded? Now, this is all speculation at this point. This coming from Connor Hughes believing that the Jets could trade Breece Hall at the deadline. Now, the deadline is a ways away. This is something that probably won't brew for a little bit, but there is, thought process involved when you're like, do I hang on to Breece Hall if the team's gonna trade him? What's that mean? That means they're not playing well. You don't trade Breece Hall if you're playing well. You don't trade Breece Hall if Breece Hall's helping you win. So this will be the trajectory of this situation, and the direction of the situation will be tied to the Jets winning or losing games. Now, whenever there's bye weeks involved, getting traded into a team that hasn't had a bye, being traded into a team that has had the bye, that can make it complicated, and we can't predict those things. But I do think if there are any four teams that would be in the market for a running back, those teams would be Washington potentially, which is sad when you think about it because we love JCM so much, but they appear a little skittish on believing in him going forward. You've got Chicago, who has DeAndre Swift is not only an injury-prone player, but he's banged up right now. And you have the Houston Texans, who we love Woody Marks. Woody Marks, like JCM, could be squashed and stepped on by a move like this, and it wouldn't shock us either direction that the teams would go, whether they trust Woody Marks in Houston, whether they trust your Corey Krosky-Merritt in Washington. And then KC would be that other team that, honestly, I could see them ruining the value of a Walker, of a Breece Hall, because we think, oh, this is the best place to go, and then they don't use them properly. But these would be on surface level the four most likely places that an RB would end up landing. The most likely to be traded, I got to get the markers out because this marker is already done for. The most likely running backs to get traded, though, would certainly be Breece Hall as one of the top 3 or 4 running backs. Prime it. Prime the marker. Do it. Get the meatloaf. This would likely be Walker, Hall, Charbonnet. Those are the likely running backs that would be on the move potentially in the NFL. Now, there are a ton more. And the other thing we got to think about when we talk about these players, so I'll rewrite the players: Walker, Sharbs, Hall, and a few more. The thought process would be worried about the contract. Let's get rid of Walker, right? But we saw that with ETN and Bigsby. Bigsby, why would you trade that guy, that contract? And then you end up trading Bigsby. So I don't think Sharbs is necessarily safe from being traded. I think Walker and Sharbs, I think the thinking for Seattle would be, let's not mess with what's working currently right now, and they don't want to make a move. But as things unravel in the NFL, teams make different decisions. So I think what would come down to the Seattle's thought process here would be that if we got rid of Sharps, and this guy's got an injury history, not that Sharps isn't banged up right now, you could argue that too, but if we got rid of Sharps and then Walker ends up getting hurt, then what? But I don't know that they'd really be worried about that if they're in a position to trade because they weren't winning at that moment in time. Right now, I don't know. I think Hall is probably the most likely RB to be traded. If I had to guess where he lands, for some reason, I could see Chicago really trying to support Caleb Williams. If Caleb Williams does return into some sort of a pumpkin in week number 4 after this, this easy cakewalk matchup that was the Dallas Cowboys. By the way, the Dallas Cowboys face the Green Bay Packers. So start your Green Bay Packers because they play Dallas, and Dallas is a gift to all fantasy football production. Breece Hall, we'll cover Breece Hall more as we walk into the coming weeks with this potential trade rumor stuff. But right now, don't expect anything to brew for at least a little while. Malik Nabers' shoulder is not on the final injury report. That's fantastic news. The guy is dealing with all kinds of bruises and bumps, and concussion, concerns are always going to be in order here because of the way this guy lays up for a ball. Hopefully Jackson Dart, who I believe is going to throw better footballs than Russell Wilson could, even though Russell Wilson's the king of the moon ball, I believe Dart's going to probably put Nabers in less of a hospital ball position, hopefully going forward. But this is also a guy learning to read NFL defenses. So there could be some bad throws, errant throws, some reliance upon Nabers that puts Nabers in a vulnerable spot. But I think this is going to be, for the most part, a stock on the rise. Nabers to the moon. Maybe the Giants win games. Maybe the Giants win some games, but look to carry some good momentum into the next season. There's always going to be, the entire season long, always going to be a little bit of risk that Malik Nabers ends up having this. What if he gets shut down and they try and have this toe surgery early? He requires toe surgery. He has to have toe surgery. The quicker he has the surgery, the quicker they can get on with 2026. So it will come down to wins and losses. But in that, I'll say this. I'm riding this wave out as long as I can, and I might never get off the wave. Because what if the Giants mathematically keep themselves like in the mix, just mathematically? You're talking 5% chance of every team in the entire league losing this certain order of games. It might keep Nabers in there until the very end, and then they have the surgery in the offseason. That potential is why you just don't get out of the Nabers game. Nabers is wide receiver 1 maybe per start right now for me. I really believe he's got that kind of upside. But I'm always entertaining selling anybody on the high. So let's say Nabers gets cooking for 4 or 5 weeks, and then you're worried about the surgery. You could always sidestep into a safer vehicle, two players, trade Nabers for 2 players, and then no matter what happens with Nabers, you're happy with the trade. And that's how you make trades. If anybody makes a trade where they do something like this, they trade a player here, player A, and they trade for player B and C, and player A continues to explode when you're selling high, you should be okay with it because player B and C should give you the ability to look back and say, even Steven, wash. They did good. We did good. End of story. Even Steven. The thing is, you're trying to sell the player as if this doesn't end up going that way and it goes like this, and that's when you win the trade. If it doesn't go down and it goes up, you both win the trade. It's even. It's a push. Anybody that says, oh, you shouldn't trade CMC or you shouldn't trade a player like JSN last week walking into the game, when you need to make a trade, that person doesn't know your situation. They don't know what they're talking about. That's a casual, lazy response to say, you don't trade so-and-so. You don't trade. What do you mean you don't trade so-and-so? If a team has a player that's popping off and they can't win with said player, they have to trade the player. If a team's winning, why try and fix what isn't broken? There's 2 totally different concepts involved. Nabers to the mother freaking moon. Nabers top 1 to 2 wide receiver in fantasy football per start. You just got to determine what kind of level of risk you're going to dance with, and at what stage do you maybe walk the plank or jump off and shove someone else over the plank and figure out how to get out of that situation if it starts going in a direction where this team looks so bad they gotta shut him down and have the surgery. We're gonna watch it closely, but right now you ride that wave because it's a long ways away before it crashes, if it was to even crash at all. Nico Collins' knee is not on Houston's final injury report. That's fantastic. Nico is a fantastic buy high. You're not buying him low, but he always delivers. He's an injury risk, of course, but what player isn't at this stage right now? So Nico's a great buy high if you can do some sort of 2-for-1 finagling. Xavier Worthy should be more about Mahomes' value than it really should be about Worthy's value. Worthy might be some sort of, we've heard the word decoy be thrown around, or just situational play. A lot of things that could have him running out of bounds. He also could have maybe a bigger game than anybody expects, and everybody laughs at the cautionary tales that people are dishing out. But I think it depends on your options, whether you're starting him. I do think this uptick in value, this increase in, hey, he's on the field again, gives me the opportunity to trade him away, and I'm taking advantage of that. Meaning I'm not expecting the world if I'm trading Worthy. I'm not going to get Worthy and then go get a monster player. No one's going to do that. But if you add something else into the mix and you give away a player that maybe you don't need, maybe this is a player that you believe is going to fall off. Maybe it's Jaylen Warren would be a perfect example of a player you'd throw in to go get one bigger, better wide receiver. That's how you maneuver, or one better running back. Maybe you get a Chase Brown because he's doubted like crazy by his owner. Maybe somebody's disappointed in Benson's effort. Benson's a great buy low and a potential sell high. Just depends on the vantage point. But I'm certainly trading Jaylen Warren and Worthy, two very high-risk players, away for something if I can get it done. Now, of course, you take a Judkins. No one in their right mind would do that, but maybe you play in a grandma league. No one's going to give you a Hampton, but maybe you play in a grandma league. Hendy, I'd venture to say Hendy's a lot more accessible in a trade than you think. And I think I would even potentially do, if you could get away with a 1-for-1, something like Ladd McConkey, who I think could return to top 12 to 15 wide receiver value. This is one of my biggest go-get players right now in fantasy. You're hurting at wide receiver. Let's say you have a Josh Allen and Bucky and potentially a JT situation with your tripod of glory, and you don't want to get rid of your tripod of glory, but you have wide receiver concerns. Guess what? Go trade for Ladd McConkey. You might quietly have a wide receiver 1. Go trade on the low for London using other pieces not included in your tripod, and go get a wide receiver 1. Trade on the low for BTJ. BTJ could be a wide receiver 1. These are quiet wide receiver 1 moves for the crafty owner that doesn't want to dish out his tripod. Who wants to give away a tripod? Not me. Not me, not you. We trade crafty. Josh Jacobs is removed from the injury report. This is good because he plays the Dallas Cowboys. He's probably going to have 750 rushing yards and 14 touchdowns on Sunday, because that's what the Dallas Cowboys provide. Glory and good fantasy football production. Jaguars' Bashal Tutin's shoulder removed from the injury report. This feels like it could be a constant with him on the injury report on Monday, Tuesday, removed by Thursday or Friday in this case. And Bashal Tutin's a great play. He's a cannon. He's a looks like a rocket shot out of a cannon, shot out of another weapon. This guy just marching on down the field into the end zone, bowling ball extravaganza, this guy, Bashal Tutin. And I think he's a really sneaky flex play, especially if you have 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and 2 flexes. He's certainly capable of that second flex spot. And even in a case where you go 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and a flex, or 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex, he's a crafty flex play. He really is. He's got risk. If he was starting, he wouldn't be a risky play. He'd be a running back 1. Bashal Tutin's got a scale of running back 1 capability and running back 2 capability even in his current situation. But this guy could vault into the top 8 RBs if he's ever forced to start. And while he's getting the workload that he's getting now, he's in the running back 2 range. But I'd say it's right in the middle of the running back 2 potential with a floor of running back 2-3. So we're talking about 12 running back start in fantasy at the running back 1 spot, 12 start at the running back 2 spot. So you're talking about being essentially, because there are not literally that enough running backs to even consume that amount of spots, he's higher than that last running back spot in, if you consider all 24 of those RBs starting across your league. So Bashal Tutin's fantastic to play. I'd say even venture to say he's more than a flex play, even in his current role, or at least has the upside for that. Tucker Kraft, knee, elbow, was removed from the injury report. This is a great player to trade away right now. Not saying I don't like Tucker Kraft. I think Tucker Kraft's fantastic. But if you can move a Tucker Kraft and let's say a Tyreek Hill, and you move that into a bigger, maybe even not safer, maybe riskier play, but you go and get a London, you go and get a singular player that can help win and dominate and make you look like a genius at the end of the day. Somebody, JSN had a mediocre day. You might be able to get something like that going. Or if we're talking about Kraft straight across for a player, I love getting Hendy on the cheap right now. Hendy's still doubted by so many players, fantasy players out there. Wide receiver straight across. Again, you could go after Ladd if you wanted. All those make sense. Judkins, Kraft, and something for, you could go Kraft and Pollard for Judkins or Hampton, or even Hendy and something. You get somebody to throw in a player. Maybe this Pollard is upgraded to a player around the range of, let's say, Keenan Allen, who I think could slow down, but is not a bad bet. You get Hendy, and now you get Ladd. You get Hendy, and you get someone like Harvey, who you believe in later. Those are all moves that you can make to potentially get yourself in, preemptively get yourself into a place that could help you dominate later in the season. Evan Ingram, he's good for week number 4. Do you trust him? Tough to say. If you need a tight end bad, go to the waiver wire, see if he got dropped. Michael Mayer, concussion, won't play. This is good for Bowers. Bowers should get a little extra work. Not that Mayer's, infringing on too much, but anything will help in that situation right now. And this, this Brock Bowers and no Michael Mayer situation might trigger the Raiders to run some different plays and formations, and not having both those tight ends to do the double tight end set situation might have this team exploring getting Genty the ball in different ways now. So I'm hoping that this triggers some sort of change. Brock Purdy is good to go. Toe, left shoulder, removed from the injury report. He will start. Whether you start him or not in your fantasy league totally depends on what your quarterback situation looks like. Stingley is looking very questionable in this game against the Titans. If he doesn't go, I think A.O. Manor is probably one of the best wide receiver 3 starts of the week. A.O. Manor to the motherfreaking moon. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt knee is questionable, but Dan Quinn said that he believes he's a go. We'll monitor that situation, and then Justin Fields practice in full on Friday. So just a technicality at this point of whether he's going to start or not in week number 4. And he's a great quarterback to go get off waivers if he's sitting out there. Let me hit all these super chats in order in which they were received. Let me make sure there aren't any that I need to move to the front of the line. Let me start off with this one. Full PPR pick 2 for this week. Tet McMillan and Debo. Let's see here. Pick 2 for this week. Tet McMillan, Debo, Golden, Breece. Tet McMillan and Debo, assuming JD5 plays, Tet McMillan and Debo would be my pick. If JD5 doesn't play, Golden's kind of safe, but less, I would say more risk because of the usage and how sporadic he's been. But I think Golden and Tet would be your safest full PPR plays. Breece Hall would be the higher risk but higher upside play to go along with Tet McMillan. And Ted is the guy that I'm rolling out there. Appreciate you with the super chat. This one here, need a running back. Should I trade Godwin for Charbonnet? Of course I would take Charbonnet. I don't even care if you promise me Charbonnet doesn't get good playing time till week 10 or something. It's worth the gamble for sure. We're going Geno Smith or Mariota this week. Oh, yeah, JD5 is out. I'm sorry. JD5 is out. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, so Mariota or Geno. So going back to the Debo questions. I'm sorry. Going back to the Debo questions. Debo is still a good play, but I would rather go Breece Hall in that situation. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, JD5 is out. We're going Geno or Mariota. I'm gonna go probably. Damn, boys. I don't know if I'm going. Can I get a vote on this one? Geno or Mariota, please. Geno or Mariota. Let me get a vote from the chat here. Can I get at least 10 votes, please? At least 10 votes for Geno Mariota. Geno. Straight across the board. Definitely Geno at this point. Chase Brown, London. I think I would probably roll the dice with London this week over Chase Brown, but I kind of want both of them in your lineup, and I do think Chase Brown is still a very good go-get player. I lost Evans and need depth 1 and 2, traded him for Debo. I lost Evans and needed 1 and 2, traded him, lost Evans. Okay, traded him for Debo. Win or loss? You're telling me you traded Evans for Debo straight up? With Evans being out at least 3 to 4 weeks, bro. That's a fantastic move. I love that. Total W. Start one wide receiver, 1 flex. Hunter, Worthy, Hendy, Harvey. I'm going to go Hendy, and I want to go Worthy for now. But let's read the tea leaves on that one. And if it starts sounding more decoy-ish, then we're going to go with the Hunter move. But Worthy right now is probably safer than even Hunter at this point, unless we start hearing the decoy stuff. Trey McBride for Tyler Warren and Ashton Genty. I would take Warren and Genty and run. That is a fantastic trade. Start 2, Dak, Dart, Mariota, 6 points per TD pass. Dak for sure, and probably Dart. I'm not sitting Dak. I know there's concerns without Lamb, but need to trade Ibuka for a running back. Who should you get? Hampton, Judkins. Try and get more if you can. Chase Brown and more. Bucky straight up. I've seen people do that. Look, Buka's got a lot of value. Don't sell Buka short on what he could get you. Start 2. BTJ, Golden, Judkins. Judkins, BTJ for me. But I wouldn't be opposed to you taking a gamble on Golden over BTJ if you wanted to risk the biscuit a little bit. Start Golden, A.O. Manor, Hunter, Tyreek Hill in the flex. I'd probably still start Tyreek Hill, I suppose, here. But I'd rather trade him, get that decision off my plate, upgrade a running back or wide receiver somewhere, and then I'd take a gamble on either Golden or A.O. Manor this week. If Stingley was out, A.O. Manor. If not, I'd go Golden. Golden's a nice little play this week. He really is a nice play. Trade Jalen Warren, Devontae Smith, Coleman for Amon-Ra. If you like winning, you do that. I don't think you'll get that. If you get that trade, we quit our jobs and come work for you. Show us a receipt. Dynasty PPR, trade MHJ for who? I got a video on this. There's a whole video dedicated to Fernando. It's literally up there. How to get out of MHJ. And the Benson one, I'm not trying to get out of Benson, but if people are trying to, I show you how and why or when you should hold. But go watch that video, Fernando. It tells you the whole thing. It walks you through MHJ, how to trade them. It's up there. It's sitting there. In general, you're trying to get Hampton, trying to get Judkins, you're trying to get Hendy. You got to give up something else in addition to get that. I go get Ladd straight across. Harvey. So who's your current roster? Buka, MHJ, Tillman. Yeah, go try and get all those players, bro. But I do try and trade MHJ. Trade Jamar for Genty and BTJ. I would probably rather have Jamar if my team is doing well now. If you need a change, I Smitty approved that trade if you need a change. Should I trade T. Higgins and Tootin for Jacoby Myers? I probably wouldn't. I'd rather wait on T. Higgins a little bit, but have that Tootin upside. CMC for JT and Adunze. You take JT and Adunze and you run. Doesn't even matter what you have. That is a fantastic return. You're getting two players that can carry you if something were to go down with one of them. In losing CMC, you're done. You have nothing else. Garrett Wilson for Cam Scattaboo, too much. Yeah, you need to get a little more than Scattaboo, but I don't mind getting Scat, but you need like a Ladd or something with it. Trade MHJ and Marks for Hendy and Keon Coleman. I'd take Hendy and Keon Coleman. Not that Keon Coleman does much. It's just I want Hendy. Tootin or Hendy at running back 2. Tootin still deserves a look, but I'm going Hendy. Could it backfire? Could this coaching staff do what we've been watching the Raiders coaching staff do or the Washington Commanders coaching staff do with JCM? Absolutely. Hendy and McMillan for Irving and Mixon. I would go Hendy and McMillan. I would probably go, if you had the wide receiver, like if you could put an A.O. Manor in the lineup instead of McMillan, let's say, if you had the Bucky side, I go Bucky. But if you are literally, grasping at straws for that spot, it's even. But I still almost lean Bucky for now until you get a little more security out of the Hendy side. My Sharps to Walker team for his Rashee Rice. I would take Rashee Rice and run for the hills, bro. It's not even close. And I love Sharps, but who should I start this week? Schrader or Bates? I don't know, bro. Bates, go off the highest scoring average in your particular scoring format. You have a good baseline now in your scoring format to lean that way with those types of decisions and kicker decisions, etc. Would you trade my Flowers and Olave for Myers and BTJ? I would rather have Myers and BTJ right now, personally. Would you trade Chase Brown for Hall? I'd probably rather have... This is pretty even. I'd probably rather have Chase Brown. I think they still lean on Chase Brown. I'm not giving up on Chase Brown, but it's close. Andrews or Fannin this week. Andrews is safer, but I'd say Fannin. Fannin for me. I think Andrews can disappear as quickly as he reappeared. What are your feelings on Penix? I'm going to give him one more shot. Depends on your lineup situation. 870 of you in here. Please hit that thumb up button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. This channel goes live, I believe, more than anybody you could find. That's my personal opinion. And so I advise you to subscribe. You found your new home, pal. And give it a like if you don't mind. 102 likes. We got 1,036 total people in here from X and from YouTube. On those of you on X right now, I don't go live on X every time, so make sure you get on over to the YouTube and hit the subscribe button. What are my feelings on Penix Jr.? I'm giving him one more chance, not necessarily in my lineup. It depends on what the options are. But I do believe that Penix Jr. has a chance to rebound this week. I know everybody wants to give up on him. He's got a talented arm. Anybody that says he's trash or he doesn't have a good arm, that's just a casual, lazy take off of, being frustrated, which I understand, but it's not a good take. Not looking too good. Hopefully your rebound. I don't know what that's referring to. Rock out. But thank you for the additional super chat. Trade Keenan Allen, Addison, Burden, and Pollard for Rice. I would take Rice and I would run. That is a fantastic getting rid of a whole bunch of stuff to get a monster player. Tone, appreciate you. Do I accept my Nico for Garrett Wilson and Judkins? I would take Garrett Wilson and Judkins and just immediately. Just smash the button, do it live. Drop Ridley, Pacheco. Probably either one. Probably Pacheco at this point. Start Worthy, Judy, or Trey Tucker. Right now I'm starting Worthy, but you gotta play the news out, Ward or Stroud in Dynasty. Probably Ward right now. Stroud looks just so bad. What wide receiver could you get for DK straight up? Wide receiver? Lab McConkey would be my favorite right now, my boy. Just my absolute favorite. Hopefully a rebound for Penix Jr. Gotcha. Yeah, he probably will. I think he will rebound. They're not giving up on him. They've already said we're not giving up on him. That could change in 1 week's time. Like one game, they could go back to the podium and say, yeah, well, we'll review the film and we'll tell you. But I think Penix has a cannon. He just hasn't been put in the right positions yet, and he's made some mistakes himself. Kyler, Gibbs, Achane, Hall, ETN, JCM. But part of that is on the coaching staff, as he's learning to read defenses. In Patrick Mahomes' first year starting, this is not his rookie year, this is his second year, but his first year starting, just like Penix Jr., exact same scenario. In Mahomes, exact same scenario. You have Penix Jr. come in, and he's playing his first full year. It's kind of like his rookie year in a way. And Mahomes didn't know how to read a single defense, he said, the entire rookie year. So this team is to put Penix Jr. in a position where it doesn't have to come down to the fact that he's having trouble reading a defense. He needs to be able to be supported as he learns how to read NFL defenses. It's not embarrassing or crazy unknown situation for a quarterback his first year to struggle trying to get to know how to read each defense. Dak or Gino, go Dak. James, thanks for the membership question. Kyler, Gibbs, Achane got offered May and Chase Brown for my ETN and JCM. I take May and Chase Brown probably. assuming you need that quarterback play. Kyler, you kind of do. Not a Kyler fan. Yeah, I'm okay with this move. I like Chase Brown and ETN pretty close, but Chase Brown, I have a little more confidence in Chase Brown on the long term because ETN's got Tootin breathing down his neck. Full PPR spot, Sutton, Hendy, or Kraft. I'm going to go Sutton for safety in full PPR, but Hendy is a nice play. I'm looking to get him in the mix somehow, using Sutton to upgrade into an elite wide receiver from another wide receiver if I can do a 2-for-1, or Sutton and a running back to get an elite running back and throw the other receiver in the lineup that way. Chuba for Scat and Benson. I'd rather have Scat and Benson, I think, right now. There's two options that could trump or be equal to Chuba. Even if Chuba is slightly better, you're getting two options there. $4.99 holler from my boy Dalton. Dalton, appreciate you. 1 and 2, who do I need to move? Thank you. Thank you, pal. Gibbs, Chase Brown, Ladd, MHJ, Pickens. I would move MHJ on the high right now. MHJ and ETN for one higher, bigger, stronger player. Achan-esque in value. MHJ for London. Throw in Olave. Throw in Devontae Smith if you can get that done. MHJ and Chase Brown for a Derrick Henry who's doubted right now. Chase Brown and MHJ for a Justin Jefferson who's doubted right now. ETN and MHJ for JJ and something. Those are moves that I would make with your team. Appreciate you. Rock out says wide receiver 1 flex Ridley, Mooney, Wicks, Tolbert. I'm probably going to go. I don't like any of these options. Rock out. You draft some of the most amazing teams in the offseason with the best ball. Like, how do you have some of these teams with these two options you need right here? You must have been hit with injury, because there's no way Rockout's building a team with these as his. Needs 2 of these. You must have been struck by injury bad. I would say Mooney, and as long as Wicks is healthy and playing, Wicks against the Cowboys. But Rockout, those are really tough calls. Trust your gut, because I'm literally leaning on that. $2 hauler Javonte and Debo for Hendy and Dynasty. I would take Hendy and run big profit. That's somebody who's scared of Hendy right now. I'm taking advantage of that. Trade help Jordan Mason for Hendy. I'd rather have Hendy, but Mason is safer right now. He is safer. We don't know what's in store for Hendy, but that's both a good and a bad thing in a sense. Like, he could be the next top 5 running back after this Sunday's game, or he could be the next guy that gets ignored, and we're like, JCM in week 2, JCM in week 3. Just like, what is going on here? Why won't they use Hendy? Like, wasn't it clear in week 3 with the 2 fumbles by Ramondre and the 1 fumble by Gibson, and they put Hendy in? They trust Hendy in the fourth quarter. Feels like Hendy took over, and then they go back to a rotation. I can't promise that, but I do think that Hendy has more upside than Mason. Mason's just safer. You got to take the gamble for yourself. $20 hauler. Appreciate you, my boy.
Alert.
And chat.
Super chat alert.
Thank you for the $20 hauler. Chat, vote on that one in the chat, please. Mason or Hendy, go forward. Tell me what you think. Working on 2 trades. I get Rice and Bowers for Myers, Jamo, and Fannin. Of course I'd take that. Rice and Bowers. Bro, I'd take Bowers for Myers, Jamo, and Fannin. You're going to get both of them? I doubt it. Let us know. I'd love to hear about it. Trade 2. I get Garrett Wilson and Scattaboo for ETN and London and Hunter. That one's tougher. Garrett Wilson and Scattaboo for ETN. I'd rather have ETN, London, and Hunter probably. I love the Garrett Wilson Scat side. I do. But ETN is playing really good ball right now. London, I think, still has a chance to rebound to a degree. But I guess Garrett Wilson's Scat could be safer. Guys, please vote in the chat. Looks like Hendy's winning by a little bit, like 7, maybe 65% of that vote of Hendy Mason going forward. And then if everybody could vote on ETN, London, Hunter, or Garrett Wilson, Scattaboo, let me know what side you want on that. I'd love to get your assistance on that, please, so that we can get him the best help possible. Thank you for the super chat, my guy. Omar with a $5 no. JD5, my league counts TD passes for 6 points. Penix Jr., Marcus Mariota, and Carson Wentz and Jackson Dart. I'm going with Jackson Dart, then Penix Jr. in that order. But, there is some concerns and risk involved in sitting Penix or starting Penix. And there's no doubt about it. Thank you very much for the super chat. Is Fields playing? It looks like he is. Top 5 if so. I don't know about that, but I think he is playing. He's full participant in practice. It's just a matter of a technicality. Rockout says, hit by injuries, Evans and Harvey not getting used. I'm sorry, Rock Out. Keep the faith, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. A.O. Manor, hopefully, if he's available, you pick him up. Full point PPR, Hendy or Higgins at the flex. Hendy. I'm not gonna ride and die with Hendy necessarily because I think he's still gonna get used. So it's not like you just might not get as much as you want usage wise. Scataboo side, scat side. Scataboo side is taking a lot of the votes there. I mean, Scataboo is a nice play, and he's a dog, bro. So you're not wrong for wanting to go with the safer side of the scat side. Any side that includes the London side has huge risk. Any side that includes scat has some nice, safety built into it. Smitty 1 and 2 Mahomes. Should I trade Debo and Bucky for Chase or even Rice? Debo and Bucky, hell no. For just Rice, no. For Jamar Chase, probably not. No, I would hold on that. I would not do that. I think with this team, I'm trading AJB if I can. AJB, go to the Walker owner, see what AJB upgrade you can get using Charbonnet. Maybe trade Debo with AJB for a JJ and something. But no, I'm not making those two trades. Give some respect to Bucky. Bucky's easily a top 12 overall player. Do I trade Warren and Keenan for London? I probably would if it was me, but there's risk involved in that, and Keenan's pretty safe right now, but I do think Keenan could flatline a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, Scat's going to go crazy. Crazy!
Scat Man! What is that smell? Someone needs me. Help! Help! I'm going to lose my fantasy week! Somebody help! Call the Scat Man! I am Scat Man. Who needs my help? Wow. Bang, bang, boom. To the moon. Now it's time to go pick up your mother.
Scatman to the moon. He's going to ball out this week, bro. Just ball out. Henderson or Golden, full PPR. Henderson for me, but Golden is a very, very solid play this week against the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody on Green Bay is almost must start some capacity. Pick one for the flex. Hunter Gordon, Fanta Jr., JCM, thank you. I mean, JCM, if he was to play, and he looks like he's trending toward playing, is a good play, but I probably go Hunter here in hopes for the touchdown, but it's definitely not the safe move. Like, Fannin would probably be the safest move in PPR or half PPR. We need an all-dog, no regard for personal injury law firm. Scat, Puka, Baker, and one more. Scat, Puka, Baker. Yeah. Scat is a monster. Scat is a guy, thank you, BBQ. Scat is a guy that, like, literally, when you see him trucking with the football toward you, he's coming to tackle you. It's so crazy. Traded Kraft for Rice, have Warren. Bro, that was a great move, Chubb. Smitty approved.
You've just been...
Chubbs, appreciate you. By the way, Happy Gilmore, too, was pretty good, Chubbs. That was pretty good. Metcalf or Mooney this week, I would say Metcalf. Yep. Due to the inevitable surgery for Nabers, who should I trade him for after his first big game? Let's take it as it comes, bro. Let's not try and talk 3 weeks down the road. And his inevitable surgery may not come until the offseason if, in fact, things are moving very well. Even if the team's looking really good, but their playoff hopes are literally almost impossible, it is a bad look on the organization and staff to maybe sit him. So we just got to play it out. But you're so far away from that. Let's wait until we get some buy lows. We could throw out names, but they won't be buy lows by 2 weeks' time. So it doesn't really do any good to have that conversation right now. And there's no way they're sitting him anytime soon for surgery. So just ride it out. You don't need to trade him after one big game. Trade him after 7 big games. Or don't trade him at all. DK or Debo. This week, maybe DK, just this week. I don't know what is in store for Debo right now. This week without JD5. It does suck. It does. It absolutely sucks. Puka to Saturn this week plus receiving TD. He might get a receiving TD this week. But Puka is a dog, man. Just a straight up dog. 3-0, Mahomie. Genty, Benson. Used money on used Monty and MHJ for Benson already. Okay. Keenan Allen. I think I like this team. If I could move Keenan Allen and Genty, Keenan Allen and Benson for like one upgrade, like Hampton, Judkins or higher for the Keenan Allen, and let's say, and you get something else with it, you know. Keenan Allen down to Ladd and get some bump somewhere. Let's see here. Yeah, Benson, Keenan Allen. Just go running back shopping. Benson and Keenan Allen for Hampton. Benson and Keenan Allen for Judkins. Genty and Keenan Allen for one of those guys with a Ladd or for a Derrick Henry, who's very doubted. Derrick Henry's pretty easy to get right now in a trade. It's kind of wild, to be honest. It's pretty crazy. 0-3 trade CD and Dak for Genty, JMO, and May. Try and get, yeah, I'm okay with this. Try and get a little bit better wide receiver, though. But, I mean, yeah, I'd probably try, bro. Dallas D sucks targeting that defense and making a lot of money. Yeah. Jerry's an idiot. What do I drop? Who do I drop? Ramondre Swift or Hunter Henry? Probably Ramondre, man. I got Fannin. I tried trading them with MHA and packages. No bites. Need defense. Lad McConkey, baby. Lad McConkey, Hendy are two very, very tradable players right now. Or trade for capable players. Traded Jefferson, Hendy, Tootin for Garrett Wilson, Bucky, T. Traded Jefferson, Hendy, Tootin. Garrett Wilson, Bucky, T. I could go either way, bro. I'd probably rather, to be honest with you, have JJ, Hendy, Tootin. But I mean, it could go either way. It's not a bad, you know. Definitely could go either way. We got two $20 haulers from Bendu and JF21. Appreciate both of you. Going to give you a bunk bed style celebration right here.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Thank you both, Trey Tucker or Ayo Manor. Ayo Manor for me. I mean, monitor Stingley. He's looking more questionable to play than he's going to play. So this would be a big thing. But I think I still take Ayo Manor because it doesn't mean that he's going to be locked down, specifically Ayo Manor all game. Worried about Vrabel saying Stevenson won't be disciplined for the fumbles. I have to start two flexes from Tootin, Hendy, Golden, Burden, Thornton. Can you help me, please? Thanks, Smitty. You're the GOAT. I'm still going Hendy. Hendy. They trusted him in the fourth quarter. Hendy's the guy they drafted. We'll see what happens, but this is what I'm saying. You never know. But I probably would not be able to be okay watching Hendy blow up. And plus, your options are so questionable anyway. Like, will you even get it right? One of these guys could outperform Hendy, but would you even pick the right one? I think Tootin and Hendy are the calls, but Hendy and Golden's pretty fun as well if you wanted to swing for that huge Green Bay versus Denver matchup that should give you tons of scoring. But I probably would go with the two RBs, but hopefully a 20-point game for Henry to sell high. Maybe rock out, yeah. I think he's determined to hold on to the ball too, and he's probably going to score. I imagine Derrick Henry scoring in this game. I cannot imagine him not taking it out, his aggression on the defense this week. Caleb Williams, Neighbors, Marks 0-3. What should you do? Probably Pearsall or Tet in some sort of trade. I like Gibbs and Judkins though, bro. JSN, Neighbors, T-Mac. You know what? I'm standing down. This team shouldn't be 0-3. Everything's coming together. Trust the process, Wesley. I bet you win 3 straight. I would trade Pearsall and Caleb for a Mahomes or slight quarterback upgrade if you can handle that. But past that, I'm holding on that team, bro. Looking at it, I don't know how you could trade anything without getting out of something I think is about to rise up. I think you're in that lane on the freeway that everybody is passing you. And if you change lanes, the lane you get in is going to slow down and the lane you're in is going to zip on by. Can we trust Fields this week? It depends on your option, bro. I mean, how do I know? In general, yeah. But if you got a much better option, then sure. But as of right now, in a vacuum, as vague as your question is, I'd say, yeah, I trust Fields, but he's got to be completely, starting. He's practicing in full. Technicality, in the way, but he should be a go. Does Mariota throw to Ertz or not? I don't know, bro. No one knows the answer to that one. May or Penix? May. May's the top 7-8 quarterback in fantasy right now. So you got to go with May. Not saying Penix can't outscore him. We're hoping that Penix does bounce back, but you can't sit Drake May right now as a top 7 to 8 quarterback in most every scoring format. No siree. $20 hauler from Steven. Steven, thank you very much.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Steven to the mother freaking moon. Steven, appreciate you. Traded Pollard, MHJ, and DJ Moore for... Let's see here. Traded Pollard, MHJ, and DJ Moore for Drake London, Harvey, and Fannin. I love that. I have Hampton, Genty, St. Brown, Agbuka, Dobbins, JD5, and Caleb at quarterback. Thoughts? I like the trade a lot. I don't know what else I would move. Maybe if I'm you, you're keeping the two Denver backs together. Hampton, Genty. I mean, would I trade Genty away at the right price? Yeah, I suppose. Let's see, Hampton, So Genty, yeah, I don't know what I would do. I think I'd let this ride out for one more week, see what London's value is. Let London rebound a little bit, and then maybe you can couple London and Genty for a monster. Unless you can do that now preemptively for like a Derrick Henry. Like if you could do that right now, get Derrick Henry and a Lad for some reason for the combo, then I would consider something like that. But past that, I think I'm just standing down after that good trade that you made and selling MHJ on the high. I think that was a smart move on your part, bro. I think anybody holding on to MHJ when you can get rid of them at that cost of getting out is a mistake to maybe hold. It doesn't mean I hate MHJ or I think MHJ can't rebound, but certainly am trying to get out of that situation if I can. Thank you, Steven, for the super chat. My boy, Steven to the mother freaking moon. We've got Sizzle here. Was offered Garrett Wilson for Judkins. I'd take Judkins in a vacuum, but either way, if you want to do this for a wide receiver, I'm okay with it. It's pretty even. Quarterback, Caleb, running back Jacobs, Chase Brown, Lamb, Evans, McLaurin. Okay. Any moves? I mean, if you're 0-3, you got to maybe move Lamb right now for Garrett Wilson. You got to move Lamb right now for even like a Rice and a Lad, or even a Rice and a player that you can use right now because you're not using Lamb. Rice comes back one more week sooner, most likely. So, McLaurin thrown in with Mason for one player upgrade. Go get. You could gamble Jacobs and Evans, Jacobs and McLaurin. I don't know if anybody even wants those guys. Worthy and Jacobs, Keenan Allen and Jacobs for one slight running back upgrade. But you could bank on Jacobs, Chase Brown, and Mason and literally turn to trading Lamb and Worthy, Lamb and Evans and McLaurin and Keenan Allen for one player. London's a great buy low. Lad's a great buy low. McLaurin for Lad. Evans for Lad. Evans and, Worthy for Lad. I'd much rather have Lad. And Lad's a good saving grace player to trade for right now, bro. He could definitely be savior. I love Lad McConkey this week. All right, I love Lad McConkey more so go forward. Not necessarily this week in general, but going forward, I love Lad McConkey. Trade Achane and JD5 and Kamara for Hampton, Hendy, and Bo Nix. Trade Achane, JD5, and Kamara for Hampton, Hendy, Bo Nix. Man. Give me Hampton, Hendy, Bo Nix because of the JD5 missing time and the fact that I do believe Kamara could drop off. But if I could trade Kamara, if you told me, Smitty, I could trade Kamara right now for a Hendy type player, then I'm looking at HN, Hendy, JD5. I might take that side more. So I think if you could get rid of Kamara separately, I'd maybe not do the deal. But Hampton, Hendy, Bo Nix right now is what I want. See if they'll take Kamara and Hendy swap and get something else. You could even get something else for that. Harvey thrown in or something. But yeah, I don't. It's kind of a wash, bro. It's pretty close. BBQ gifting 20 gifted memberships. BBQ to the mother freaking moon. Thank you, BBQ.
You've just been Smitty approved.
BBQ dropping fire in the live stream right now. BBQ, appreciate you for gifting all of that, young man. BBQ to the moon. By the way, BBQ, I haven't run. I know BBQ's a runner, and I am too, but I don't run a lot of long distance. Last night, I decided to run like Forrest Gump. I went late at night. I ran at the university. And just ran around the whole school. And I just said, you know what? I'm just going to do it live. Run around just nonstop as long as I can. And I ran 3.9 miles at a 8-mile flat pace, BBQ. It was like 7:59 mile pace for 3.9 straight miles. My knees hurt a little bit. My knees are not good. I have to literally run like... and stretch, and then my first like quarter mile, I look like a old man that's about to fall apart. It sucks, man. As your knees start getting wear and tear and older, you can't just go out and run without stretching. I literally, the difference of warming up and then stretching after, and then it's so night and day. It's crazy. But yeah, I couldn't believe the pace I was at. I started to get faster and faster, and then I started running at that pace. But it was good. 3.9 miles. That's the furthest I've run in a while without stopping. At an 8-minute mile pace, especially, was really, really good. So I'm running in a 5K soon, and so I'm gonna try and get in the top 10 of the 5K, but I don't know. It's all contingent on my knees. My knees sometimes are good, sometimes they're not. Hit that thumb up button. Subscribe if you're new. Trade idea: Kelsey, Harvey, Mooney for Shakir Hendy. I would take Hendy, rock out and take the gamble on Hendy, but again, we don't know what this team is gonna do. We just have no idea. My knees are probably not as good as Christian McCaffrey's knees, but they're pretty close. Warm me up, I'm good for a while. Ride a bike. Honestly, people say that, but I rode the bike. My knees started hurting worse. You start having IT band issues, and then I started getting pain in my knee because I would have to ride so long to accommodate and so fast. The bike thing worked for a little while, and then it was worse. Swim. Who has time to jump in a pool, every single day? I can't do that. Hey, what am I, a fish? How about I just keep doing what's working for right now? If I can run, how about you just let me run? How about you guys stop trying to change me right now? Trying to come up with ways that I just had a 3.9 successful run at an 8-minute pace. At the college, and as I ran around, there wasn't one person in better shape that entire time I ran around. Saw everybody walking, nobody was exercising. And I felt good about myself. You're trying to change me right now. Smitty, why don't you get a bike? Smitty, why don't you swim? I just ran 3.9 miles without stopping at an 8-minute pace. You're trying to change me? How is that not a successful run? I'm 1-2, and I have Kyron as a running back 2. Should I trade Bijan for Judkins in London? I don't know that I would do that right now. I think if you gave me a different wide receiver that we trusted a little bit more, I could do it. It's close. It's close. go out and have a successful run, and I'm being critiqued. Trade Genty plus Scat for Lad. No. I'm going to take Scat over Lad right now. I think you could get more from Scat. Scat, especially if you wait a week. Scat's going to do Scat type things. Trade idea: Kelsey, Harvey, Mooney for Shakir Hendy. I think I just answered that one. I'm taking a gamble on Hendy. Marks for Sutton and Burden. I would take JMO. I'd take Sutton. Sutton's balling right now. Sutton's a good wide receiver. He's a low-end wide receiver 1, but count him as a wide receiver, high-end wide receiver 2. Traded Debo for Rice this week. I'm fine with that. Start 2, Chase Brown, Worthy, Hendy. Hendy and Chase Brown right now. I know it's early, but I won't be around on Sunday. You're the man. Thank you. Appreciate you. That's what I do now. Monitor the news on Worthy. If things start looking really good, which I don't think they will, then we maybe switch it. But I'm 1-2 and have Kyron as my running back 2. Should I trade Bijan for Judkins London? I answered that one already. You need more. 2-1, but struggling with the CD and Evans injuries. Traded McBride, Evans, and Caleb Williams for Tyler, Warren, Sutton, and Pollard. I'm fine with that. That's a good trade. Look, I mean, it's a really good trade. McBride and Warren, you take a little bit of a bath on that, but maybe not even. Like, that's how good Warren is. And then you get this Sutton value. Now, I like it. It's a good move, Jake. I think you did good. Jack's $10 hauler trade. Send Ayuk, MHJ, and Benson and receive Henderson and 10-man. I mean, I don't think I do. Look, I like Henderson a lot, and I do want Henderson more than Benson, but Benson's still a good player. Like, don't let anybody fool you into thinking Benson's like a bust, after 1 week of, getting 10-plus fantasy points. And MHJ right now has a little more value than this. I think you should be getting like Henderson and Harvey, Henderson and Ladd. You should be getting something back. I would say no on that one, bro. BBQ says 5K 8-minute mile is great. First mile is like the Tin Man. Yes, shooting oil into the joints. After that, cruise control, 5K. I believe Kruger says that if I run about an 8-minute pace, I should place around 8th to 15th in the 5K. So we'll see. We'll see. I can't do a half marathon. My knees definitely would not hold up for that. But depending on who shows up for this, if it's a really busy 5K, it probably won't get top 15. But I think I could try and get top 10 overall in a somewhat competitive, crew or class of people running. But the one I'm attending might be a little bit more crowded, so might be a sub top or a finish outside the top 10. But I'll let you know. Trade Baker for Hendy, 1 QB for sure, absolutely. Up against a 3-0 team, had Benson put up mid numbers. I mean, yeah, 10 points ain't bad though. Start Coleman in my flex for the upside, or stick with Hendy. I mean, Hendy's got more. If you're going to go upside argument, you want Hendy in there. What 3 running backs should I start? Dobbins, Barkley, Bucky, or Breece? What do you think, Jose? I'm just curious why you even asked me about Barkley and Bucky in this question, though. So between Breece and Dobbins, anything can happen. I think trust your gut on that one. Chat, vote Dobbins or Breece Hall. I would go Breece Hall, especially with Fields back, knowing what they did in week 1. I'm going to go with that. Traded Kamara for BTJ, but chat, vote on that one. JK or Breece Hall. I'm going Breece Hall. Traded Kamara for BTJ. Smitty approved. Could go either way, bro. That is a tough one. That is a very, very tough one. I would say, I would say probably BTJ. I'm a gambling man there. Probably BTJ. You finish top 50, not with an 8-minute pace. I'll be way above top 50, bro. If I run an 8 flat, it'll probably be, I'd say 12 to 18, somewhere around there. It'll be like 750, 755 pace or whatever I run. Traded Sutton for Judkins. I would take Judkins, but it's arguable. But I'd take Judkins. Am I streaming the run? I do have the meta glasses that I technically could stream it on Instagram. I hate the way these things look. They made the worst design with these meta glasses. They look awful. I look like a grandpa with these things on. Like, disgusting. I want to see if I can, like, I wish I could take these meta glasses and take the pieces and put them into, like, a proper pair of shades that would fit my head. Worst design glasses ever. But I do like them. I have the meta glasses. They're pretty awesome in terms of the functionality. But I think I'm going to focus on the run instead of putting the pressure on while I'm filling my knee joints slowly, get more flexible. Start 3, BTJ, Pearsall, Pittman, Debo, Igbuka, Keenan Allen. Pearsall banged up. I mean, we'll obviously know more. I'd say BTJ, Buka. I mean, I don't know why you're asking Buka in this question. BTJ, Buka, and Keenan Allen for me. But honestly, they're close. It's a close call. CD for London and Pollard. I think I'd rather get more for CD Lamb than trade him for that. Beth, appreciate your $2 hauler. Someone dropped Hendy. Pick him up for Chase Brown. No. Yes, pick him up, but don't cut Chase Brown. No. That's like the same thing. You're like, hey, somebody dropped Hendy. If you drop Chase Brown to pick up Hendy, someone's going to be pointing at you going, someone dropped Chase Brown. Like, no, drop somebody else. You're not dropping Chase Brown. But please pick him up. Trade idea, Henry for Ted McMillan and Genty. Look, Rock Out, it's not the worst trade idea in the world. Chat, vote on that one. Henry for T-Mac and Genty. Would you rather have T-Mac and Genty or Henry? If you're Rock Out, you're trying to make like a statement here. Are we worried about JD5 for rest of season with whatever he has going on with his knee? No, because he said he felt great. The doctors were the ones to make the decision. He's out there throwing. I think you're looking for something. He's completely says he's ready to go, and the doctors make the call. It is what it is. But no, I don't think there's anything hiding in this situation. No, JD5 should be fine. I think they're just saying to themselves, look, we've got we got the whole season, and we got a W. So let's take advantage of this little safety record situation we got going on. Starting Dart stupid over since JD5 is out. I don't want to drop him in case he pops off. Is it dumb to start him or in his first game? It depends on your options, though, bro. Did you tell me who your other option is? I mean, I'm starting Dart without much of a hesitation in dire straits. Bucky, Garrett Wilson for Gibbs and Rice. I'd take Gibbs and Rice, and it's not even close, bro. Not even close. Start Hendy or ETN. ETN's safer until we know what Hendy's role is. Like, that's an objective take. I wish that it was different. I think you start ETN and you hope that ETN doesn't get screwed, in volume. But you're not crazy to go Hendy. If I had 2 leagues side by side, I probably would start Hendy in one and start ETN in another. And if I only had 1 league with this situation, I might lean ETN for safety and wish that I had a second league to gamble with on this question. In Dynasty, would you rather have Genty and T-Mac, but redraft would rather have Henry, says Casey. Yeah, if it Rock Out, if that was a Dynasty question, I don't know. I don't think it was, but then of course I don't want Henry in a Dynasty. I'd take Genty straight up for Henry in a Dynasty. Sending offer to a buddy that watches your show. I need a running back, and his best wide receivers are Tyreek and Higgins. My Garrett Wilson for his Judkins, a fair trade. Absolutely fair. I think if would I rather have Judkins by a hair? Yeah, but at the same time, if you need a wide receiver, it's an even Steven trade. I mean, Garrett Wilson's balling out, bro. Bears defense or Chargers defense? QB start Dart, Mariota, Geno. I'd probably go Dart, and I'd probably go. Let me see what I projected here on this defensive ranking here for the week. That's a tough one, man. I'd definitely go Dart. Dart's a risky play for sure, but he's got lots of upside. As far as the Chargers, I'd probably say the Chargers over the Bears. The Bears, I think, would be more of a bottom outside the top 12 play this week, whereas the Chargers are like borderline top 5. I think you go Chargers, bro. Geno's a safer play than Dart if you want safety, but I'm probably gonna roll with Dart. It's not it's a high risk proposition. Trade Hall for Adams. Adams is fine. Either way, if you need a running back, I could see doing it on one side. And if you need a wide receiver, I definitely think I could do it. Missed the last night's game. Benson passed the eye test against a very good Seattle defense. Usage was going to get better. Very promising. Yeah, people are wild, bro. The fact that anybody's like worried about Benson, they shouldn't be. I'm worried about the Cardinals' usage, maybe. But I'm not worried about Benson's talent. And like I said in the video today, trading away Benson is smart. If trading away anybody's smart if the price is right. And if you wanted to get out, I gave a lot of options in my get out video if anybody wants to get out of the Benson game. But I don't think anybody should be panicking. On a short week, teams are going with the committee. Why the surprise after week? After Walker handled 17 totes in week 3, then still got 20 in week 4. If you own Walker, you want a committee to keep him fresh, says BBQ. I still trade Walker personally, but I don't sell him low or anything because he still could deliver. My MHJ for his 26 first rounder, should I ask for more? Honestly, I'd probably take a first rounder. I'd ask for more, sure. Try and get a Harvey, try and get something, but I think I'd get rid of MHJ for a first rounder, to be honest. I don't know. It depends. Chat, would you rather have a first rounder? I guess if it was really late, no. But if it was like mid or had a shot to be better, I'd probably take it. Because honestly, like think about where Ibuka got drafted. Think about where Judkins got drafted. Those are guys that got drafted in the middle of the first round. Would I rather have Ibuka or Judkins or Scattaboo or Hendy or any of those guys over MHJ right now? Yes. So that first rounder probably is better. Trade Mason and Garrett Wilson for Nabers. I would take Nabers. Don't get mad at me. Why would I get mad at you? That's a very, very fair question. I think I'd take Nabers. Nabers. But one could argue. It depends how much you love those other players, which we love. We love all three of those players, but I'm taking Nabers. Definitely. Walker is garbage. I don't think that's come on. Oatmeal, that's a lazy take. Walker is garbage. They take him out on third down at the goal line. Do you mean that the usage of Walker is garbage? Because Walker is not garbage, Oatmeal. I think you're blurring the lines of what you consider to be garbage usage and what you consider to be a garbage player. Lamb out. Who should I start? Is Lamb out, Jose? Lamb's out. Thanks, Jose. Should I start Jacoby, Judy, Coleman, or Godwin? Jacoby. Would you trade across for Rice with no other piece? CD? I would probably want something else and push for it to the ends of the earth, but would I take it? So act like no. Act like no. Rice will be back 1 week sooner. And we don't even know if that is actually the final verdict on the injury. He could sit out another week. He also could come back earlier. But yo, what's up, Con? Appreciate you for the super chat. Tyreek or Josh Jacobs? Jacobs by a country mile. It's just safer, bro. Did y'all see the look on the ref's face when JSN? Yeah, I don't blame JSN, man. JSN's such a nice guy. Like when he got to the podium, he's like, "Yeah, I was fine." Oh man, guys, I got a video dropping at 7:30 or 7. I think I'm moving it to 7 a.m. Seems like a better drop time instead of 7:30. So 7 a.m. Eastern are my morning video drops. And this one is going to drop here where I debate different combos of players. And so this video will be hitting, where we start talking about which side do you like. That video will drop at about 7 a.m. So get ready for that video in the morning. BBQ, appreciate your additional super chat here, young man. Do we really believe we're able to talk about Stevenson running back 1? I don't know that he's saying he's running back 1. He's just saying, is he going to get punished? No, but that's like the extent of the way I look at it. Is he going to be punished? No. But is it Hendy time? Yes. But look, we don't know. We've seen this before. These coaches, we think they've learned their lesson. We think that it's as obvious as can be, and it's not. But I don't think that what he's saying, people are trying to take what he's saying and they're acting like it's saying something specific. No matter what, Hendy's getting work. They're running him as the 1 in practice. So is Hendy is Vrabel punishing Stevenson? No, he's moving on from Stevenson, but could Stevenson still get work? Like, are they going to give him work and punish him by not giving him work? No, that's the way I'm taking it. Anything can happen, but why would we be worried about Hendy if he's running as the 1 in practice? You know what I'm saying? Never know, though. Could we be scratching our heads on Sunday? Absolutely. I can see that, too. What I'm dealing with, QB, Dak, Penix, Henry, Achane, Harvey, JSN, Evans. The injuries are what hit you, Rock Out. It's a good team, bro. I think Burden's not bad right now, Rock Out, in that Evans spot. And then, yeah, you got a little bit of a problem on your hands. Try and go get Ladd right now. Trade Kelsey. Ingram has a big game. Go that direction. Evans for Ladd. Evans and Kelsey for Ladd. Overpay for a wide receiver that's like BTJ or Ladd. Rock Out. And then all of a sudden you fixed all your problems. Got offered Scadaboo, Golden, and Addison for Henry. I mean, you take Henry, bro. It's pretty easy. Light work, bro. What are we doing there? Emeka Ibuka for Harvey and London? No, man. Ibuka's worth more than... Ibuka's a wide receiver 1. What are we doing here? Why is everybody trying to get rid of Ibuka? Is it just that fear of them breaking up with you before you break up with them? Hey, Smitty, love your show. Thank you. The show loves you back. Who would you put in at flex 10-man, half PPR? Hendy, Worthy, or Chase Brown? Chase Brown's safest because the volume's still going to be there, but I lean Hendy unless word breaks differently than what is out there now. Like, hey, Hendy's now running as the 2 or 3 in practice. Then that would change my mind, but I believe Hendy's going to ball out. Sharps for BTJ. I take BTJ. That's easy. I like Sharps. And if Sharps are starting, I wouldn't trade that. I would take Sharps, but Sharps is not starting. I like Sharps. Sharps is a great hold, but look what Sharps is going to get you in trade right now.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial into the attic.shop phone lines. Quick questions only. I will not be taking long, full, drawn out team questions. Al, you're live.
Hey, Smitty. Wanted to know, should I trade Drake May and Harvey for Stafford and Henry in a super flex league? My other quarterback is Mahomes.
Drake May and Harvey for who? Hendy and who? Scadaboo?
Stafford.
Oh. Stafford
in
and
a super flex.
Stafford and Scattaboo.
No, Stafford and Hendy. I would be
Hendy.
receiving Stafford and Hendy, and I would be trading away Drake May and RJ Harvey.
Oh, sorry.
All good, bro.
And this is not keeper?
Not keeper.
Okay,
Super
hold on.
flex
All
redraft.
right, hold on 1 second. Mute yourself. Turn down the background noise. I'll be right with you, pal. Thank you. And then this caller, please mute yourself and turn down the background noise. I'll be right with you. All right, everybody be muted or I'll hang up on you besides Al. So, Al, your question is Stafford and Hendy versus May Harvey, Superflex, non-keeper. Okay. This is tough, bro. How much is Hendy going to help you?
I have my other running backs right now are Hampton, Ramondre.
Okay, well, let's simplify it. I don't need to hear your team. Is Hendy going in your lineup for Harvey? Is that the way this is working?
No, I wouldn't. No. Harvey's on my bench. I would.
Okay, so
anticipating the swap that Ramondre gets benched this game and then Hendy takes over.
Okay. I probably would say I still like Stafford's good enough, but Drake May's playing at a top 7 to 8 QB level right now. That's like kind of crazy. Chat, is Stafford too much of a downgrade to do the swap? I mean, if Harvey gets in there, Harvey's going to ball, and this will be something that maybe you regret later. It's just the nature of fantasy football, bro, and you could see this from a mile away. You could regret this later. However, you know, at some point, you got to make the call of how long you're waiting. How long are you waiting? You know, is it 5 weeks? Is it 7 weeks? What will your record be at that point? So I think I'd take the Stafford Hendy side because I think Stafford's still very usable right now. Puka Nacua is playing great. Adams is playing great. Stafford should be able to maintain a respectable gap, a small gap between May and him because of the wide receivers he's got on this roster. I'm gonna take the Stafford and Hendy side. But very arguable. Very, very arguable, bro. All right, appreciate you. 917, you're live.
What's the word, Smitty? My question is, what is your opinion on BTJ rest of the season? I understand his rest is going on with everything, but I just want to better understand it because I want to trade for him, honestly.
I mean, we're 3 weeks in. He hasn't played his fourth game yet. So we've seen players vanish before for 1, 2, 3 weeks, and then they're fine. BTJ, you got to ask yourself, did BTJ break the seal on that one long 40-plus yard catch? Are they going to change it up? Are they going to figure out ways to get him the ball? I know BTJ did not trip and fall into top 4 wide receiver numbers last year. I know he's a good player. He's a really good player. He's a top 10 wide receiver for sure, talent-wise. No doubt about it in my mind. The only question is Trevor Lawrence, who he did not play well with last year, is this the problem? And is it going to continue to be the problem? And will we see no rebound whatsoever out of BTJ? The only thing that concerns me is we see Nabers continue to deliver with no matter what's being thrown his way. No matter what. Right. JJ, no matter what JJ actually hasn't delivered this year, but no matter what's been thrown his way, he delivers. No matter what happens, these elite players deliver. So I'm a little bit worried, but I'm definitely buying him because, bro, that worry's baked in. It's not like you're having to go trade for him at the top 12 to 14 all value. I think that's where people get confused is people don't leave the room, close the door, take a deep breath, open the door, and walk in and look at the thing from a new perspective. This is not a player you're paying the price tag for. You're getting him free, practically speaking.
Right, yeah.
So yes, I love him at his new value. I'll take the gamble all day long.
So do you view him and Ladd McConkey in about the same kind of realm? Ladd McConkey, BTJ.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I like Ladd's offense way more and his situation way more. And I do believe Ladd gets on his horse and balls at some point.
I do too.
So I'd rather have Ladd.
I love the show.
All right, man. I'd rather have Ladd. All right, later, bro.
Later.
All right. 7:04. You're live. 7:04. You were live, but your phone, your connection's horrible. Travis, you're live.
Hey, what's up? How are you viewing Henry going forward? Top 10 running back still?
Yeah, with the baked in. So like Henry was probably 1 to 4 coming out of week 1, and even I said that. You know, he was one of those players. You're like, man, but then 2 straight weeks of disappointing play. Now he had disappointing play in week 1. Like top to bottom, 11 carries, 21 yards or 22 yards, was it? That's it. Then Henry has 50 yards and 1 TD, which was salvageable, but that's still only like 11, 12 points he scored. So people were not, I mean, Benson scored what, 10.5? And everybody's running away from Trey Benson right now. Henry's TD and 50 yards was like a 12-point day. So it's not like he had like a much better day. So people are still panicked on Derrick Henry. 1 good game. 1 good game, 1 horrible game, 1 pretty disappointing game. But I think that this top 1 to 4 RB value from week 1 probably goes into a 6 to 10 evaluation running back, like trade market value, maybe even 7 to 11. And that I'm all about. This is where I wanted to draft Henry, is at this risk evaluation value. Whereas he was, so I'm glad in the end, I feel like I was maybe right to avoid Henry where his ADP was. Coming out of week 1, it didn't look that way, but right now it looks that way. And so if we can trade for him now, this is why, like, one of my bigger avoids was Ladd McConkey, and that proved to be right. Now I'm buying. That's the way my mind works. That's the way fantasy football should work. You adjust and adapt. You buy low, sell high. Henry was somebody I wasn't extremely in love with the ADP on draft day. And it looked wrong after week 1. I even admitted that. And now it's looking like actually is good to avoid him at that cost. Now I'm buying him because the risk is baked in. Now there's players that didn't work out well. BTJ, Henry, Hampton, those guys were drafted way too high. And we should have looked at it that way too. But it is what it is. You're not going to win them all. But these are 2 players that I'm definitely buying right now, 100%. Travis?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Would you be taking Kyron or Henry right now?
I'd probably take Henry.
Yeah, okay.
Because Kyron was a 3rd-round pick. Kyron was probably a 4th or 5th round or worse valuation walking into week number 3 because everyone was scared to death of Corum and Corum getting that touchdown in week 2. And then Kyron has 150 total yards and a touchdown last week. Now everybody loves him again. Everyone's so fickle. It's a roller coaster ride. I think you're 1 more game away from seeing the divide you don't like, or just the happenstance of a touchdown going to Corum because he's in the game at that moment. And everyone looks at it like, oh, the touchdowns are gone now for Kyron. So you're literally 1 bad game away from all of a sudden, Kyron is way below Henry in value. But I'm going to take the chance on Henry at what I believe if we're drafting today. I don't think Kyron goes any higher than he did on draft day. I think that he would have went later walking out of week 2, but if week 3 reset it to where we'd probably find it again at the same place. So do I think Henry should be going in the 3rd round? No. Do I think Kyron deserves to be? No, but would he go in the 3rd round? Yes. So fair market value, Henry. I don't just trade based on fair market value, but I think Henry's the safer play right now.
I was just curious. I don't get the panic on Kyron. It's like we talked about before, like, still had over 15 carries every game, actually 17, 18 points. So, like, I don't think that workload is going to fall all that much.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Kyron. Let me answer the super chat real quickly. 150 yards last week, still sharing carries, when he's getting the majority of the, he's getting the same workload as anybody else should be. He's getting the same workload, except for Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey's on pace for a workload that no running back, I think, is sniffed, including himself. And it's wild. It's so wild. The fact that anybody thinks that Christian McCaffrey's not getting injured at the current pace of usage right now, given the state of that team and how everybody can't stay healthy. He's got bilateral chronic Achilles tendonitis. The thing about Christian McCaffrey that people aren't, there's 3 risks of injury for him. Everybody's got the first one. The first one is just freak injury, just a freak ACL tear, which he's more likely to have than a younger player because his body's not where, he's not going to have as quick of a reaction time, get caught up somewhere, get his leg caught up somewhere, get hung up on a turnaround when someone's got his leg hooked. And then he's just going to have a little bit more risk of the freak injury. But everybody has this. Christian McCaffrey also has the over usage. His age catches up to him and he just gets hurt. But he also has this third component, which is unrelated to an injury on the field. He has a flare-up with his Achilles. And that flare-up, which he has chronic Achilles tendonitis, that flare-up could just be where he's out there and he just can't move well, just like he did when he couldn't play week 1 last year. He wasn't actually injured per se specifically. It was his chronic bilateral Achilles tendonitis where he couldn't play. It's hard to explain, but you can't run. You got pains everywhere, whether it's in your feet, your Achilles tendon. And so he's got 3 different points of potentially getting injured. And not just the free. Everyone says you can't predict injury. Anybody can get hurt. Yeah, that's number 1. He's got 3 different ways of getting injured. All right, real quickly, let me answer these super chats. We got a $20 hauler from Eddie. Eddie, appreciate you. Hi, Smitty. Thoughts on 2-1 start? Traded Lamb and Tet and Monungai for Nabers, DJ, Moore, and Hendy. Fantastic trade. The way I look at that is Nabers is the best player in the deal. And aside from that, you've got Tet versus Hendy, and you could easily wash that. And so at the end of the day, it's Monungai and Lamb versus Nabers, and you get DJ Moore. Like, you could throw DJ Moore to that side of the trade too, whatever. That's an easy home run trade. And this team is looking pretty stout. Achane, Hall, Hendy, Nabers, Rice. You can wait on Rice. You got the record to wait on Rice. This is a great team. McBride, I like the team a lot. You did a good job with this trade. Fantastic. Only thing I'd maybe look to do is move Caleb on the high because you have Hurts. I mean, you could keep them both, but Caleb and Hall for a running back upgrade from somebody that needs a QB. Caleb and DJ Moore or Addison for a running back upgrade. But love the squad. Fantastic team. You absolutely crushed the trade. Bendu, appreciate your super chat, young man, with a $20 hauler as well. Bendu to the moon. Bendu, thank you, pal.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Bendu, appreciate you. Bendu says Tootin or AO Manor. Part 2 of my flex dilemma. Thought I would split the question up in additional. Thank you, Bendu. Appreciate you, bro. Travis, do you like Tootin off the injury report this week or AO Manor? Let's say Stingley's out.
Probably in AO Manor. I think he's still going to get those like 6 to 8 targets. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm if Stingley's in, I'm wanting Tootin. If he's out, which looks very likely at this point at least, I think AO Manor in full PPR. If it was non-PPR, I'd say Tootin. If it's half PPR, I'd say even. And if it's full PPR, I do lean AO Manor. But I don't know, man. This is one of those things where like my gut at the last second might make me shove Tootin in the lineup, which doesn't always end up well. Sometimes it ends up well, sometimes it doesn't. I just feel like I just feel like Tootin is so capable. He's such an explosive player. He's the guy they trust near the goal line. He's the guy they put in there when. And the crazy part is, like, he's doing it with such high efficiency. He's not getting used a ton. It's just he's efficient. But so if he doesn't pop off a run, he could have 4 carries for 15 yards and 2 catches for 10 yards and get you nothing. So I'd probably lean toward A.O. Manor, I guess.
Safer A.O. Manor, yeah. Did you see the thing with Ridley? How they have him working with these glasses, special glasses that block out half your vision, so you have to focus on the ball, and that's just kind of worrisome to me. Maybe it'll help him, but I think it just kind of adds more points to A.O. Manor.
Yeah, A.O. Manor is just looking ready and spry, and he A.O. Manor could be that guy that give him maybe in 3 weeks time, he could be a household name. Where we're, I'm not saying for sure, but it could be one of those things where right now it feels like, think Marquise Colston, think St. Brown, think of players that they didn't feel legit yet. Even Puka Nacua, it was 1 or 2 weeks, you're like, I like what I'm seeing, and then there's a switch that gets flipped, and then all of a sudden A.O. Manor is this household name. I'm not saying it's for sure. There's a nice little vibe to it that you got that potential, and there's no expectation for it, no cost of entry for it. If it doesn't work out, it's fine. He'll still be very good. But I like A.O. Manor a lot. I think Tootin's time will come. You're not going to lose sleep putting Tootin on your bench, I think, and he has a touchdown and 40, 50 yards. But you will lose sleep if A.O. Manor has 2 touchdowns and 100 yards.
If you needed a wide receiver, would you trade Woody Marks for him?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Dart is going to keep Nabers interested in football. I agree with this. If there's anything Dart does, if you see the interview with Nabers after Dart was named the starter, there's a night and day difference between his demeanor and his excitement and the excitement to talk to the media. So 100% agree with you. I think that Nabers is very excited. Now, if Dart goes out there and throws hospital ball after hospital ball and things don't go the way we want, we can see that demeanor change. Dynasty 2 QB, 3 wide receiver, made some moves. I got Dak and May and Dart and Henry and Hall and Dobbins. Should I try and trade T. Higgins and Bateman and 26 second for Cam Ward and Fannin? In a 2 QB, I'm fine with this move. I don't know that T. Higgins holds any sort of long-term crazy good value, especially with how his situation cannot stay consistent, whether it's him getting hurt, Burrow getting hurt. So I'm not worried about that. I definitely believe Cam Ward is going to get better. And we have this expectation that if Cam Ward doesn't look like a golden boy in his first year, in the first 3 weeks of football, that he can't do it. And that's not the case. I think he is the real deal. And A.O. Manor, as he develops, it'll get better for Cam Ward too. I'm definitely taking this trade. And as far as the rest of your team, I like May. I think Dak, May, and Cam would be a great combo. You got Dart as well. You might even be able to move one of those guys to get Henry traded down to a Hampton, Judkins, something like that at some point if Henry starts balling. Right now, you won't be able to move Henry. And you might have to just hold Henry to win a championship. And I'd rather do that than get rid of him for pennies on the dollar. Hendy's a good buy low right now. Harvey's a good buy low. Breece Hall is a good buy low, potentially. Kyron, in some cases in Dynasty. But Henry's hard to sell. Very hard to sell. But you have Dobbins. You could go after Harvey using Henry in something. But if you could win cash money, championship time right now for you with this team, then ride Henry till the wheels fall off. He might even have one more year left. Who the hell knows? Yeah, don't cut Hunter in a dynasty. Oh, you got Hall already. Hall, JJ, Nico, your team is good. MHJ, I'm still selling high. MHJ and Henry for one Hampton or Judkins, in Dynasty. That kind of crazy, move could work. Lab McConkey for MHJ and Dynasty. I make that move right now. Hall for Hendy or Hampton or Judkins, making that move. Thank you, Sutters. Appreciate your $20 holler, my boy. Thank you very much. Travis, hold on one second. Let me just blast through these. Some of these are really short questions here. Chase Brown and Keon for Ladd and Franklin. I'm gonna go Chase Brown by a hair, but I could get behind either side. You need a wide receiver, give me Ladd. If you need a running back, give me Chase Brown. I think it's really, really close. My Knicks Rice for Sutton Daniels. I would rather have Sutton and Daniels if I'm fine weathering through one more game. Daniels will be back. I think this is really, people are really assuming some weird things with JD5 right now. Trade my Danny Dimes for London, and you have Lamar. I definitely would take a chance on London. You got Lamar. Who the hell cares? Super appreciate you, Benson and Quentin Johnson for London. I'd take a London. I'd take the chance on London for sure. This one here from Fighting. Says Monty or A.O. Manor. Also start Love or Herbert. I go probably Love this week against the Cowboys, even though I do like Herbert a lot. Either one's great, but Love is a great matchup. And Monty for A.O. Manor. I'd probably take A.O. Manor. If you can get more for Monty, I would. And you might be able to. Just because people think he's worth so much right now. You could get Hendy. You could get Judkins. If you give up something else, you could get a wide receiver like London. So try for more. But in a vacuum, I like A.O. Manor better. But I think you can get more if you're talking about trade. And as far as starting this week, I mean, I probably, you could roll with the hot hand in Monty, I guess, this week. But Trevion Henderson, ETN for Scat. Or are you saying trade? I don't know what you're saying, TH. If you're saying Trevion Henderson and ETN for Scat, told him it was Trav. Thanks for help.
Oh, Trevor ETN? Scat?
Oh.
Travis ETN?
Told him it was Trav. So what's he saying then?
Saying he got Scat for Trevor ETN.
Bro, you're still not clear with it. You know when someone's like, sorry, I'm talking in fragments, and then they talk more in fragments? I would say Trevor Etienne for Scat. I'd rather have Scat by a hair. If that's Trevion Henderson as well, what are we even talking about here? Of course not. But I think that's what he means.
Is he saying he got him for the
I have no idea what he's saying.
Brother of Travis Etienne? For Etienne?
I don't know.
If that's the case, he plays in a league full of buffoons. But
yeah.
know.
What Travis said.
Clarify.
Traded Hill and Keenan for T-Mac and Ladd. Hill and Keenan for T-Mac and Ladd. I'd take T-Mac and Ladd. I think that's a much better side at the end of the day. Thank you. And B-Mac says sit Hendy or Chase Brown. Chase Brown's a little bit safer this week, but again, I don't know if I'm getting like those vibes at the last second to shove Hendy in, because I certainly could see myself doing that. So wait until the last second. We might have more on that. Two for one trade away Genty, or 2-1 trade away Genty for Mason. Mason's safer, but I still would probably bank on Genty personally. I still think there's a chance that Genty's a top 6 to 10 running back. I really think there's a chance. I'm not trying to hold on to weird hope. This is my objective take. Start Worthy or BTJ. Start Kincaid or Fannin. Kincaid's safer. BTJ for me until we know what Worthy, his volume could be. His decoys being thrown around right now. And flex play, BTJ, Genty, Hendy, or Ladd. I'd probably go Genty right now based on volume, but it's pretty close. I like Hendy a lot, but I think I'd go Genty. But I like, again, if news is to break that suggests differently about Hendy, I'm going to go Hendy. Start Worthy or ETN. ETN right now. You can't mess with that combo or that decision. Start 3 Pickens, Pearsall, Hendy, Warren. Pearsall's banged up, so I'm going to go Pickens, Hendy, and Warren for right now. But would I swap Warren and Pearsall out? Maybe. I could see myself potentially doing that, but you'd have to get a real solid report on Pearsall. Should I trade Barkley, DK for Chase Brown, Jefferson? I would probably say give me Chase Brown and Jefferson, but arguable for sure. And then Austin with the super chat here. This is the final one to catch up. Thank you, Austin. Hey, brother, made some trades happen, and this is how my team is sitting. Mahomes, Mason, Chase Brown, Hendy, Nabers, Nico, Rice, Jameson. Like the team a lot. I don't know that I'm moving much at all. Mason, Chase Brown, Hendy, maybe one of those running backs. I probably trust Chase Brown and Hendy. And if I'm moving anybody, it would be Mason and like J-Mo for a Hampton, a Judkins, a Henry, someone of that nature. Mason and J-Mo, I don't think you get to JJ, but would I do it for JSN? Probably. Those are the only things I'd be looking at. Those kind of weird, raking someone over the coals using two for one type of strategy. All right, Travis, what else you got?
Someone in the chat's asking, do they drop two for Braylon Allen? Oh.
Do I drop Tootin for Braylon Allen?
Yeah.
No. I mean, I think this coming off of the title of this stream and somebody thinking, what if Breece Hall gets traded? This is so far downstream. The news is out today on it, but it doesn't mean it's happening anytime soon. So the answer is no. Braylon Allen's not a factor right now. Tootin is definitely a guy I love right now. Breece, K9, Sharbs for Jacobs, JCM, and Harvey. Give me Breece, K9, and Sharbs by a lot right now. But then I'm trying to, like my video, if you go watch how to get out of these players, I'm trying to get out of K9. But I still think it's way better than this package below, but I'm still trying to make it even better by making a trade. CD trade value on 1-for-1. Rice and something. I know it's not a 1-for-1, but I mean that I'm looking to do that. CD for Judkins, CD for Achane, CD for JSN. I think you start getting lower than that. You're trying to get 2-for-1, and sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. It's weird because people tell me, should I trade Judkins for Keenan Allen? Which I like Keenan Allen, but there's some people that don't value Judkins at all, or some people that think he's a top 8 running back. Nick, appreciate you with the super chat. Trade away Jamar Chase and Benson for Gibbs and Igbuka. Gibbs and Igbuka by a lot, by a landslide. Not even close, not even debatable, not even worth writing on my marker board. Easy question. PPR 10-man, Knicks, Walker, Bucky, Harvey, Higgins. Trade Buka, Tet for London, Breece. No thanks. Buka's better than London, and Tet and Breece are probably arguable. So there you go. Bucky, Hall, Lamb, Puka, Rice when healthy. Buka, Tet. I'm not saying it can't go another way, but that's the way it is right now. And London's going to have a shot at his, trajectory changing. Like, no doubt about it. But right now it hasn't. So you can't go trading like it has. You trade for it like it hasn't and might not. Because his owner's freaking out. But if you buy him at his old value, you're not winning fantasy football. This question's a pretty good one, Sean. My JJ and ETN for Puka. I'd rather have JJ and ETN, but then I flip ETN while I can. I like Puka a lot, but I'm taking that ETN value, which is pretty high right now. Hurts, K9 for Bucky, Myers. I'd probably take... you have Kyler and Dart as a backup. That's a tough drop. Hurts, K9 for Bucky, Myers. Still... damn, man. I don't know. I guess I'd take Hurts K9, but then I'd flip K9. So you're holding, but then I'm flipping K9. I know you've probably been trying, but I don't think you necessarily have to give up on that idea. You got to package K9 in something. I believe you can get a Judkins. I believe you can get a Hampton. I believe you can get a Hendy. I believe you can get a Chase Brown using K9, even if you're adding something in some cases. But
yeah.
I'd rather
I'd even move those two in separate deals. Like I wouldn't even mind moving up Hurts in the right deal. But something different.
Traded JJ, Warren, and Swift for Lamb, Bucky. Of course you did. Home run. $5 hauler from Go Bucks. He says Mahomes, Jettas, London, CD, Rice, Worthy, Benson, Hendy. Would you trade Bucky, or what other running backs to target? Who would you trade for Bucky? Sorry. Trade London for Bucky, obviously. I'd trade Benson and Worthy. I'd trade ETN and Worthy. I'd trade London and ETN for Bucky and something. I would trade CD for Bucky. That's what I would do. Anything else, Travis?
Yeah, just quick. Would you start Juba over JCM still, with the...
Yep. Yeah. I would. I mean, JCM's banged up right now too, so and we have been given zero confidence that anything that Washington tells us about JCM is going to come true until we see it.
Yeah. All right. And how do you feel about Khalil Shakir over rostering like a Luther Burden or something like that, or Thornton or something, a higher upside guy?
Burden's pretty easy. Pretty easy call here. Hold on 1 second. Mute yourself. I'll be right with you, pal.
All right, cool.
All right. Hey, Travis. Appreciate you, Travis. Later, bro.
Yep.
See you tonight.
Thanks.
Steve, you got 15 seconds, Steve.
Okay. Hey, I just wanted to know. So I got my team. Real quick, it's got Herbert, Love.
Just ask me the question. I can't do the whole team breakdown. But go ahead in 15 seconds. So hit me with your question.
Okay, if I were to trade Chuba, Montgomery, and Higgins, what kind of receiver would I be able to go after that would be an equitable trade?
Well, not a lot of people are just going to take your, I don't want to call it trash. I'm not saying this is trash, but you're like, let me give 3 players for one. And then the person's got to love all 3 of these players. That's a hard sell. But if we're trying to say Higgins and Monty or Higgins and Chuba, the type of player you're trying to get, if you can, would be Judkins or higher. And some might say Chuba and Judkins are really close. Hey, I'd do that. Okay, so there you go. So Higgins and Monty might get you that. Hampton, obviously, I would want as well. It's got to probably be a higher player than this. I would definitely take a gamble on Chase Brown over Monty Higgins. I'd definitely take JJ for all 3 of them. I'd definitely take Rice for Monty Higgins. I'd take, obviously, a Lamb or whatever, just as a numerous amount of options there. Hendy for Higgins. Monty Higgins for Hendy and something. Go to the Lad owner, see if you could do a combination of that for Lad and a player that is on that Lad team.
Do you think that could possibly get a CD or no?
Maybe. Some people are in dire straits right now, my man.
Cool. Sounds good, bud.
I appreciate you. Thanks, bro. Bring back anything you maybe have cooking up. Nick says somehow I'm 0-3, 10-team PPR, JD5, May. May's been balling, so you're good. Nico, London, Garrett Wilson, Buka. I wonder if you sat Buka in week 1, bro. I'm getting a weird feeling you did. Achan, Bucky. Because how do you not have 1 win? Just sent Pollard and Franklin for Hendy and Pearsall. I bet you did. Bro, send that for Hendy alone. You ask for Pearsall, you're getting a little greedy here. And, yeah, I do that. And then now sit 1, Garrett Wilson, Buka, Pearsall. You're sitting Pearsall. See, this is why, Nick, I think you lost week 1 because of this decision-making that you're doing here. Why on earth would you ask the question of sitting Egbuka? Why would that even exit your mouth? Why would that be even included in your message that should you sit 1 and put Egbuka's name in here? You sat Buka in week 1, didn't you? Just at least admit it, Nick. I know you did. I'm not mad at you. I appreciate your super chats. I appreciate you. But there's no way that you're still justifying your week 1 decision by wondering if maybe Buka is worthy of sitting randomly to make me feel better about my week 1 decision of sitting him. There's just no other way you would be sitting or contemplating sitting Buka. But I'd sit Pearsall. He's banged up. Nick, your team's great. Your team's great, Nick. It's going to do great things. And yeah, to Travis's point as well, you don't sit Garrett Wilson. Like, that question's a wild one. Nick to the moon, though. Nick, your team is fantastic. Ron, appreciate your $20 hauler. Nick, you're my man.
Super chat alert.
Hope you're not mad at me, Nick. This is my bedside manner sometimes. I'm sorry, bro. Where were we at? This screen? 8 team, 0-3. Lamar, Bijan, Jacobs, Benson, Hendy, BTJ, Nico, Buka. I wonder if you sat Buka in week 1. Ron? Pickens, big names on waivers. Tootin, Sharps. Drop any one of them for Tootin or Sharps. Tootin or Sharps. I'd rather have Tootin, Sharps, and JCM in that order. So JCM. Unfortunately, I'd rather have Tootin than JCM. Now, Sharps, if he was in a better situation, then I would probably say if Sharps were in a little bit better situation, I'd probably say Sharps over Tootin, but I'm going Tootin, bro. League winner. And your team looks really good. Team looks fantastic. In an 8-man league, though, the key to winning an 8-man league is trading, consolidating, because the waiver wire is so deep, as you're proving. Like, you could pick up Tootin and Sharps right now, and you could trade, throw JCM away, pick up Tootin and Sharps, and there's probably another player you could pick up. But 2-for-1 trades, bro. 2-for-1 trades. Tyreek Hill, is that Tyreek Hill? Tyreek Hill and Benson for one better player. Tyreek Hill and Jacobs for one better player. Tyreek Hill and BTJ for one, save for Garrett Wilson. You've got to consolidate. That's the only way you can get a huge advantage in an 8-man league, because everyone's teams are stacked. Should I trade Mason and Worthy for Chase Brown? I could go either way, Mike. That's pretty dead even. I think Mason, most people would rather have Mason right now than Chase Brown. So I think you're probably not giving up. You're probably not getting enough back based on fair market. BTJ or London, I'd say London by a hair. By a hair. Traded Etienne, Egbuka, Pittman, Amon-Ra, Hendy. Traded Etienne, Mecca, Egbuka, Pittman for Amon-Ra, Hendy. I'd take Amon-Ra, Hendy by a hair. By a hair. Any moves to make Rice, Hendy, Harvey, Tootin, McBride, Horton, Fields, Achane, Kamara. I'm trading Kamara and maybe go to the you got Achane, never mind. I was gonna say go to the Achane owner. Kamara and Kamara for Judkins, Kamara for Hampton, Kamara for those types of players. Now, Rice and Kamara for Henry, Rice and Kamara for JJ, Rice and Kamara for those types of players. Kamara for Lamb, and you wait on Lamb. And then you throw Hendy in the lineup, or Tootin. Those are the moves I'd make with your team, bro. Mike gifted 1 membership. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you. If you got that membership, which is Amari, please thank Mike. Love Fields, Collins. What moves would you be trying to make with this team? Love will have a great game, so start Love this week. Collins, Higgins. I'm trading Higgins if I can. Higgins and K9 for one slightly better player. Hampton, Judkins. K9 for... You got Judkins already. Nice job, Judkins. So Judkins, Genty. I'm trading K9. Maybe I'm trading K9 and Higgins for a receiver then. K9 and Higgins for JSN, who had a disappointing day to a degree. Garrett Wilson, obviously higher player if you can. K9 for London isn't a bad move for your team. I am going to be back at midnight Eastern. Guys, I have a Patreon, and said Patreon is only $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Link is right here to join that said Patreon. It's a 365, 24/7 live chat environment, and it wants you there so that you can get trade advice, 24/7, chat group. And also play $5, get 100. We'll try and draft tonight. So if you want to draft with us for a week 4 contest, hit this link right now. Sign up ahead of time or you won't get in. That link has been dropped. Play $5, get 100 if you use the link that I just dropped right now. The link's going to be pinned in the live chat right now. The link's in the description of this video and every video, as is the link to my thefantasyfootballshow.com rankings and trade calculators, as is my Patreon link. All my links are in the description of all my videos. I'll see you at midnight Eastern tonight. We'll be drafting and just discussing whatever topic is needing to be discussed. And Chief dropping a super chat here. Traded Amon-Ra for Rice in a 26-27 first round picks. 12-man Superflex Dynasty League. Is this okay rebuilding? Absolutely. Rice and 2 first rounders for Amon-Ra. That's some fantastic trade. Fantastic trade, my boy. Unbelievable trade. Deuce. See you at midnight Eastern. I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. I'm live whenever big news breaks. And I'm also live at midnight Eastern every single night practically. So see you all tonight. Couch says trade Chase Brown, Olave, and Hunter for James Cook. Absolutely. Take James Cook and run. He's balling out, bro. See you all tonight at midnight. Deuce.